This is Inglorious Trekspert DAREN DOCHTERMAN, and from me and everybody at the Treksperts, we wish you a lovely holiday season and hope that you have time to spend it with your friends and family, and with our wonderful swag from our various websites and our sister podcasts, Inglorious Treksperts and 430 Movie. At the Inglorious Treksperts site, that's inglorioustreksperts.com, you can find a whole bunch of swag with our Treksperts logos and famous quotes from the show, and T-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and spatulas. No, there's no spatulas. But you can get tote bags and coffee mugs, all that sort of swag that you've come to expect from a high-quality podcast. So take a look on inglorioustreksperts.com and also look at 430movie.com. That's 430movie.com.
Hello and welcome to Best Movies Never Made, the podcast where we talk about interesting and infamous movies that never made it to or through production. Most of the time, the movies you're trying to make don't get made.
Like 4 of them may happen, 1 of them may happen, none of them may happen, and I'll be attached to 3 more things by end of summer.
Turn the script into something resembling like Unforgiven with Conan.
Yeah.
Sadly, the rights expired and the whole thing just went away overnight.
New episodes will be available every other Monday. We won't see you at the movies.
Best Movies Never Made, as featured in Entertainment Weekly, is available wherever you listen to podcasts and on the free Electric Now app.
If you felt a great disturbance in the Force, you're not wrong. My new book, Secrets of the Force, is now available in hardcover, digital, and audio from St. Martin's Press. And check out my other great oral histories with Ed Gross of Star Trek, The 50-Year Mission, So Say We All, The Complete Oral History of Battlestar Galactica. And nobody does it better, The Complete Oral History of James Bond and Spymania. All available in hardcover, paperback, digital, and audio wherever you buy your books.
Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Hey, this is Mark A. Altman.
And this is DAREN DOCHTERMAN, and we are the Inglorious
Treksperts.
The Star Trek USS Enterprise gift set with command chair, console, 3 telescreen cards, and 5 Star Trek action figures. Place Mr. Spock or any Star Trek figure into the transporter room. Spin the control knob and press the button. Mr. Spock disappears. Pretend he's left the deck of the Enterprise for outer space adventure. You can capture the Klingon and bring him back to the Enterprise. Star Trek USS Enterprise gift set. Star Trek action figures also sold separately by Mego.
And we're bringing...
I was in the holiday mood.
I see that. And we are going to bring you season's greetings, some holiday joy. We're going to open up the Treksperts briefing room. No, we're not even in a briefing room.
No,
we're going to open up
an entirely different podcast.
Yeah, thanks for correcting me. We are going to
open up the vault.
We're going to open up the vaults. We're going to do our first annual Treksperts Holiday Gift Guide episode, where the Treksperts will share with you some great stuff for the Trekspert in your life, or the Trekker or Trekkie, or if it's Scott Mance, the Trek enthusiast. But we know what he wants. He just wants a companion.
He wants metamorphosis.
He wants metamorphosis. That's right.
Or a scarf.
Or a scarf. Let's get him a scarf. So it's only a few weeks before Christmas.
That he can hold in front of his head all the time.
Yeah,
it's like to be a companion.
It's a few weeks until Christmas. We've just in the midst of the Hanukkah holidays, and so if you didn't get what you wanted for Hanukkah, or you're waiting for Christmas, we have got some choice picks for you. Some great Trek
great
stuff.
things. And, you know, as usual, it's not all Trek. Most of it is.
Well, let's not go there because
I'm not going to. Okay, big spoiler. Big spoiler.
I mean, I guess you're, there'll probably be some gifts suggested from Space 1999, The Black Hole then.
Maybe.
Because clearly we talk about them more than we do Star Trek.
Well, you certainly do.
I certainly do.
I'm just going to say that.
It's not just me. There's others. There are other people. There are other people who are guilty.
All human like me.
But, you know, I mean, the real way to, I guess, celebrate Christmas in the Star Trek universe is to have your family die in a fire, apparently. That's the Christmas spirit of generations.
Well, that happened in Star Wars, too. So
that's different. Star Wars isn't about spreading holiday cheer. Star Trek's an optimistic, hopeful view of the future.
Yeah, with a burned family.
With his entire family. The end of the family line. I lost it all.
Fire.
It's gone. I'm going to go to the Nexus because there I could be appreciated. And they're going to create a spin-off show with me when I'm 92 years old.
Let's not make fun of Captain Picard. He's having enough trouble.
Fun. I'm making fun. I'm making fun of generations. I'm just saying I don't understand.
You're making fun of a child's Christmas in Star Trek.
I'm saying that after that beautiful episode that was family, this huge catharsis he has after Best of Both Worlds, where he finally comes to terms with his strained relationship with his brother, played by Jeremy Kemp, and it's just a marvelous episode. That's all negated when they kill them all in Generations off screen.
Kill them all, let the firemen sort them out.
Who thought it would be a good idea in the first Star Trek movie to have Picard moping around? That's fun. Oh, my whole family has been killed in a fire on Christmas.
We know who thought of that.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it on the show. And it's funny because next year we got Brian Ford Sullivan coming on the show. Brian that was the futon critic, but more recently he's been a writer-producer for such shows as Arrow, and he's going to come debate Generations with us. He's a big fan of the movie, and he's looking forward to telling us why he loves Generations.
I'd love to be educated about that because I don't get it.
Yeah, well, we're on the same play. We're on the same. With that, I can agree.
Alike, Captain.
Except when it comes to Star Trek 6. But yeah, we do. We think much alike. And I've been reading in the interwebs. You seem to be busy with your secret project.
Apparently, my super secret project that apparently everyone knows about.
I know, it's very exciting. A lot of people are talking.
There's talk. People talk.
Can't wait till next year.
I can't contribute to that talk, but yes, next year will be a good one.
Oh, I like the sounds of that.
I predict. Criswell predicts next year.
Well, you know, the future is where we're going to spend the rest of our lives.
I'm not. I'm spending all mine in the past, like we have for the past 4 years.
Yeah. By the way, I have to tell you, I mean, I know this isn't a mailbag episode.
I forgot to tell you.
Yeah, I know this isn't a mailbag episode, but I want to read you something. Okay. Because I thought that this was a very nice, this is what I like to see when we do the show. This is the latest thing on Apple Podcasts. I want to read you this. This is the latest review that I happened to see when I was perusing to see if people were taking our advice to post stuff. And this is what it says. Okay, this is not the one. This is just a nice review. I'm not going to mention it. Okay, I'll read it anyway. My tribe found 5 stars. This is not the one I was referring to. Mark, you asked for more reviews, so here's one for you. As someone who has loved Star Trek since before birth, as my mother tells me I would kick in utero when she watched an episode, I find this to be the most entertaining and informative, authoritative Trek podcast around.
Aww.
I've also been reading Mark Altman since his days in Cinefantastique, and I'm always pleased to hear his nasally Brooklyn voice. Thank you very much. I'm pleased as well. Reminds me of home. If you are also, now this is the part I disagree with. Just if you are also in your mid-50s and disgruntled with life, this is the podcast for you. I gotta disagree with you on that.
We're not gruntled with life.
No, we're extremely gruntled. We're like gruntled.
We're totally gruntled.
We love. I mean, that's the whole reason we do this.
We're like Scrooge hanging out with the ghost of Christmas present. We're drinking the milk of human kindness, baby.
Totally. We're kicking back the eggnog.
Yeah,
shaken, not stirred. And we are, so you're taking the wrong, I appreciate the kind words, but you're taking the wrong lesson from this podcast.
Maybe what they're saying is that it's a good podcast to listen to for those who are depressed about being in their mid-50s and want an attitude to bring them up.
And maybe don't have their tribe and they can find their tribe here.
Perhaps.
Okay, I can see that. I just want to be really clear. For all the cynicism and everything, we're not disgruntled at all. That's the we're
overly gruntled. In fact,
yeah. We're very lucky. Okay, so that was not the one I wanted to read. Okay. This one I have to read. But it's very interesting, and I really appreciated it. Revising my 1-star review.
Oh,
okay. This is now 5 stars. We've been upgraded from 1 to 5. It says my original review got a response on the podcast. I criticized Mark Altman for bringing up his liberal politics too often. I stand by that opinion. Totally legitimate. I added the totally legitimate part. Having said that, I will revise my review because of how good the podcast is in spite of the aforementioned issue. This is the best Star Trek podcast out there by far. The ability of the Treksperts to have discussions and debates about something they clearly love, yet are able to acknowledge the flaws, Star Trek 3 being the prime example of the franchise. By the way, you're right. It's not good. You talk a lot about Star Trek The Motion Picture, which I love because this film is very underappreciated. You also give a lot of love to Deep Space Nine, which is also underappreciated. Thank you for the effort you put into the show. I do wish you'd be more accepting of us politically conservative fans out there. Star Trek should be inclusive for all fans, regardless of our differences. Very nice. Very nice. Paul W. Smith, we're all big enough to take a few insults. I'm glad that you could see the good and discard what you don't like about it. I wish some of those Star Trek 3 lovers would feel the same way.
Well, we have no ill will towards Star Trek 3 lovers or
we really
conservatives.
We must be disgruntled or something.
Some of us are. I don't know. A lot of grunts going on.
Yeah. You know what? I should probably clarify. I don't have a problem with conservatives. My problem is with Trump supporters. It's different. So anyway, look, this is such an exciting holiday season. A lot of people looking forward to gifts. What's the greatest gift you ever got for the Christmas holidays?
That's a good question. My mind always goes back to, I believe it was 1976 when I got that Space 1999 Mattel Eagle transporter.
Yo, you son of a bitch. I'm so jealous. Even now, all these years later, I'm jealous because I never got it. I wanted it and never had it.
It was the greatest toy ever because it was big. And
super big.
It was basically the size of a real eagle they used on the show.
Size mattered. No question. I mean, I had the little dinky eagle, but you had the giant Mattel.
We aptly named Dinky Eagle.
Yeah, and it was green. It wasn't even the right colors.
It's green. It's not now. Yeah, not right. But oh man, I still have mine. Mine is hanging up on the wall, and I cherish it. And I remember that time so very long ago that was under the tree.
Yeah.
I think I've told this before. There's a picture from, I believe, Millimeter Magazine of Brian Johnson, who was the visual effects guy on Space 1999. He was holding one of the Eagle models, and he was holding it by the space frame, the tube structure on the top. And that was a picture that drove me crazy because I wanted to know what that thing was and what it was made of and everything. And so when I got this toy, I began carrying that thing around by the space frame all over the house. And it was just a little bit of magic. And I never forget it.
Do you believe in magic?
I do. I do.
It was magic.
Occasionally,
it was magic.
Occasionally, magic happens. What about you? What was your
I love that. Well, I got to tell you, when people ask me this, and I think I may sound 4:30, it probably, I said, and I'm going to revise that answer. I would always say when I got my first VCR, because we got all our presents, and we used to get our presents on Christmas morning, our Hanukkah presents on Christmas morning, our big, and so I was sure we were getting a VCR. We opened all our presents, didn't get a VCR. I was so I was like happy with what I got, but there was sort of this air of disappointment that my brother and I had. And then all of a sudden our aunt showed up with this big package, saying, well, one more thing. And I knew exactly what it was. And we tore open the wrapping paper, and it was one of those giant Panasonic VHS machines with the, it had the thing like Sulu's sensor that came up, you hit the button and go,
yeah, it came up and it had the two clicky dials on the side.
Yep.
And you could switch channels.
It was magical. But I think for the purpose of this show, and something that gave the VCR a run for its money, had to be Mego's Mission to Gamma 5.
Nice.
Gamma 3? Gamma 3 or Gamma 5?
Gamma 3.
Gamma 3.
No, Gamma 6.
Gamma 6. Mission to Gamma 6, right.
It's the Mission to Gamma 6 from the Star Trek collection. Assembly required. Comes with 4 Gamma creatures. You can place the Gamma creatures almost anywhere on the idol. Pretend the cave glove trap tries to stop Kirk. When you place him in the plant trap, it snaps closed. You can bring Captain Kirk up the stairs, and when you release the trap, down he slides into the idol. Imagine he's surrounded by the Gamma creatures. Mission to Gamma 6 comes with 4 Gamma creatures. Captain Kirk sold separately. From Mego.
So this, of course, was based loosely on the Apple, but it also had the Lilliputians in it, and had a hand. You put the hand in, and you would grab the figures, but it had Vol. That was the thing. It was Vol. And you could play with this thing for hours. I mean, it was a better episode. You could kill a million red shirts.
I never had this one, so you got me beat on that one. I never had it.
I love that. I wish I still had it. I've seen it at conventions. I thought about buying it, and I'm like, what am I going to do with this? But I may have to buy that one day, because I love that stupid
one of these days,
toy.
You're going to buy one of those, and you're going to buy an Eagle transporter.
Oh, I've come very close to buying the Eagle. But you know why I haven't? Because my first pick for today's show, for the holiday gift guide, and there's actually 2 great Eagles you could buy right now.
Yeah.
There is Eagle Moss has launched their Jerry Anderson line.
Right. And
thanks to the largesse of Ben Robinson, you could purchase an Eagle. Can't get one for free, because apparently I've only had you on the show. I don't know how many times.
You've gotten free stuff from them before.
And I'm plugging them again.
Yeah.
God forbid they send me anything. But
I've worked for them, and I've never gotten anything from them.
But then the real thing, look at this. Yeah. This is you know what I'm talking about. This is
gotta hold it in front of you.
Yeah, this is amazing.
We can't see the darn thing.
We can't see it.
Hold it down. Oh, this isn't working. Not working. Yeah. We're gonna have to trust. We're gonna have to still grab that.
Is the and now I've lost audio. I've lost power. I've lost everything. So the 1612 is doing a series of Eagles and other action figures, and I got this because it has the Hawk in it from War Games.
Not the one played by.
Not a man called Hawk. No. And it is. They're beautifully packaged. They're absolutely stunning replicas. The biggest problem is you have to it's like Sideshow or Hot Toys. You pay for them, and then a year and a half later, maybe they show up at your door, and then maybe you still want it. I mean, I had the same thing with this thing. Here, I'll show you. Can you see this? Can you see this? My command base. I'm becoming visible.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood action figures.
Oh my God.
It's Leo and Brad Pitt as Dalton. And again, I probably wanted this.
Do they have the Charlie Manson doll?
Conservatively, 2 years ago.
Do they have the Charlie Manson doll that goes along with it, like Butch Cavendish?
They do not have that, thankfully. Although, I probably could find somebody who looked like him. But this is, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Not working.
There we go.
There we go.
Now I can open it up, but I'm still deciding whether or not I want to sell it or keep it. Now I'm going to keep
See
it.
what's going on there.
Yeah. I got that at Toys Wonderland out of Hong Kong.
Wow.
Now, of course, if Rob Burnett was on the show, he would have
no end of wonderful, really, really expensive toys to buy that may not be still available. We don't know.
Yeah. We don't know. I mean, Rob is a voracious collector. He is like Saul Rubinek in most toys. And he has quite a collection. Anybody who's seen him on his on his network, the Burnett Network, who's seen his or on this very show, and he's seen his man cave or whatever he calls it. It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable.
It's the Observatory.
The Observatory, yeah. And I mean, really, we should have him on the show for this because, boy, there's nobody who's better equipped to talk about all the amazing toys. Where'd they get all those incredible toys?
Then, you got a lot of nice toys here. That's two different toy references for you folks out there from two different films.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Right. That's right. So my first pick is the Eagle was meant to be.
Yeah, but the one you had there, the Hawk, was 1612.
16, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And the 16, I'm cheating. I'm doing two.
You have
for
two
one
choices
pick.
For one pick.
That's right. There was Lazarus from our dimension and Lazarus from the other dimension. So
right. The 1612 Hawk has a little bandage on his head.
That's right. That's how you can tell the difference.
You can tell.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my first pick to get us into the Treksperts Holiday Gift Guide.
That's a good pick. Even though I think both of those are very hard to find now.
Are the Eagle Moss? I don't really.
Well, it's touch and go. I mean, partially because of the availability of stuff shipped overseas. That's one thing. And there's a lot of toys stuck in cargo ships on the coast of California and New York. So
it's like Moonbase Alpha out there, just drifting away
somewhere very safe
beyond Antares.
My choice is something that I just ordered and got within the past week.
Ooh,
and
tell us, Jim.
Tell them, Jim. They're really fun, and one of them is something that I wanted a good version of for a long, long time. There's a company called Fansets, which makes pins and other bits of wearable art and prop work and things like that. And they have a collection of Star Trek pins that are pretty darn good. But the king of them, at least at this point, is the Star Trek II uniform pin.
Oh, look at that.
It is beautiful. It is all metal. They have two versions. One is a magnetic version that goes on the front of your jacket or shirt, and it just sort of snaps on the back and holds it on securely.
And also erases credit cards.
Absolutely. It's beautifully done. Our friend John Cooley was the product lead on this. And it is the closest reproduction of the real thing I've ever seen.
Stunning. It's great.
It's great. And I bought a couple of these. One with the studs in the back poke through a shirt. But I also got a couple other pins. I got this IDIC, Infinite Diversity. And
oh, my God. Gene would be so proud of you.
Gene would be proud. And Gene would be making money off me even today. Let's see. I have this is a little less successful. This is a visitor pin from Picard. From Picard that is missing the nana on the top. But it's a little different than the real one, which I have here.
Ah.
Just a little different, but it's still nice if you like that kind of thing. But the funniest one that I got has a representation of our friend Robin Curtis as having a beautiful cloisonne pin, so you can have Robin Curtis next to your heart all the time.
I don't know what to say to that.
I thought it was very funny, so I had to get it.
My next pick are it's a little off the beaten track, but from Sports Authority, they're knee pads to protect yourself at Star Trek conventions from people in scooters who attack you. No, that's not what my pick is.
That's not true.
No, it's not. Although I have to say my knee still hurts. Okay, but that's not what my pick is. My next pick, of course, is goes out to our good friends at La La Land Records for their Neil Bulk for the magnificent remaster of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Absolutely.
Superb.
It's an amazing sounding CD. All the music that you love and more that you haven't heard before.
The Illusion of Beauty and more.
And more. Yeah, it's really good, and your ears will thank you. Even if they are pointed.
Yeah. Wow.
How's that for a tagline?
That's like copywriting. That's next level stuff there, Darren. You're too good for this show.
that's almost Merv Blockland.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. I told you, we're doing this 1982 documentary, which you were interviewed for recently. And Merv Block is the gift that keeps on giving, let me tell you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So, what's your next pick there, Darren?
My next pick is, I'm not sure how to do this because I actually don't have any products from them at this point. They are basically the guy who was the product developer for QMX, who made the wonderful Star Trek figures. Like this Khan Noonien Singh.
Oh, yeah, I got that too. It's freaking great.
6-scale figures that QMX used to have the license for. He moved on and started his own company. And I think is it called Nexus? It's something like that.
We have to get back to the Nexus.
I gotta find the link because it's important, Marion. So come back to me. Name another.
Now, who is that gentleman who started this company?
I think his name is Nanjing Tam.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I've seen. I normally don't add people on Facebook that I don't know. I only, like everything else is fine, but like on Facebook, I don't add people that I don't personally have, know. But somehow he became a Facebook friend. I don't know how he slipped through. And I keep seeing stuff where they're doing all these action figures, these things. I guess they're doing Voyager and they're doing Discovery.
The name of the company is Exo-6.
Oh, yes, right.
And they are available on Big Bad Toy Store. They carry them. They're a little bit pricey, but not in terms of 6-scale figures. These are actually cheaper than most 6-scale figures. But right now they have an amazing Captain Catherine Janeway. They have a Picard that is great. And I believe they have
a Data First Contact. Don't they have a Data First Contact? Yeah.
Great too. They have a wide selection. And they're talking about coming up with even more familiar characters from things that have been
people want
neglected.
Stuff that people want.
Neglected.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me put it that way. So,
Mr. Eric's.
Now that would be great. No one has ever done an Eric's.
Why has no one done Eric? You know why? Because they can't. It's like when Mego or these old Playmates, they couldn't just take the body off of something else.
Yeah.
They'd have to sculpt the whole thing and not just the head.
They also have the Dr. EMH 1/6 scale, which looks amazing.
I have to say, even though a lot of these aren't any figures that I'm personally interested in, the sculpts are gorgeous. They're doing an amazing job.
Their ability to do likenesses has gotten so good.
Yeah, and I'm looking, and clearly he is a huge fan and is really concerned about giving back to the fans. their money's worth. So I'm very impressed by this company and what they're doing. Like I said, it's nothing that personally speaks to me because I'm really, I've always mostly only collected TOS and TNG and Deep Space Nine, but I think it's remarkable work that they're doing.
Agreed, and that's why they are one of my picks.
Great pick. I still don't know how he ended up on my Facebook friend, but okay.
He's the guy who started the company.
That must be it. I was I went by that logic. Crazy Eddie would be on my Facebook feed if he was still alive.
His prices were insane.
They were insane, indeed. But that's the problem. I don't want to have insane friends on Facebook.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hey, are you going to Jeff Bond's party tomorrow?
I don't think that's anyone's business.
Well, no, this will have aired long afterwards.
I'm a busy man.
Speaking of Jeff Bond, I would like to recommend a beautiful coffee table book from Jeff Bond and Gene Kazicki that came out earlier this year called The Art of Star Trek the Motion Picture. It's a stunning coffee table book.
I think it's the art and effects of Star Trek the Motion Picture.
Sure, you have to direct, edition, visual effects, supervise, produce anything with Star Trek. Can't even get the name of the book right. So Titan Books has done this remarkable book about Star Trek the Motion Picture, and Jeff and Gene have done just a superb job. And there's some great art that even I've never seen.
And it's so funny that they finished the book mere weeks before we started on the upgrade version.
Hours could seem like days.
And they did.
Yeah, it's fantastic. and I think, look, Jeff, everything's Jeff's done. Jeff is such a spectacular writer. A lot of people don't know this. Back in the day in the 90s, I was doing a magazine for Larry Flint called Sci-Fi Universe, and Lucas Kendall recommended a guy named Jeff Bond to me as a writer. And at the time, he was working at a bank and writing for Film Score Monthly. And he sent me some stuff, and I said, this guy's a really good writer. And so I hired Jeff, and he used the money that I gave him, the very little money that I was paying him, to move out.
You were thinking of
the penance. No, the pittance. Yes, the pittance. And to move out, thank you, the art and visual effects of Star Trek the Motion Picture. And so he moved out here. And for many years, I was able to benefit from his largesse, his wonderful writing skills. And Jeff has gone on to do a number of phenomenal books, including the music of Star Trek, making of Narcos, making of the Orville. But I feel like the Star Trek the Motion Picture book is certainly a new high for him, an all-time high.
It's really great, and of course, the book on the producer of Lost in Space and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Irwin Allen. The World of Irwin Allen book is so thick with lusciousness. He covers everything in it, and great photos and great text to go along with it. It's lovely.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because of course that really is a spectacular. I mean, you talk about coffee table. You need a very strong IKEA coffee table will not work. You need a really well-built coffee table to hold that book, because that is one solid.
You need a coffee table hewn from solid oak
to hold that book.
To support that book.
But it is so spectacular, and it was published by our mutual friend Taylor White, who was the proprietor of Creature Features not here, but in Burbank, and really a spectacular undertaking, and a beautiful book. And Taylor is also the publisher of another book that I would highly recommend. It returns tomorrow about the making of Star Trek the Motion Picture. It's the original Cinefantastique article cover story that was never published. Now, I believe the actual book is now out of print, but you can get it on Kindle.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it. He was a guest on the show a couple months back. And that's a really delight. If you're a fan of Star Trek the Motion Picture, you're going to love Return to Tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of books, Darren.
Yes.
I got a couple of books.
Well, you just gave the 2 books.
Yeah, but
so you're going to continue. Let me give one first, and then you can.
You go ahead.
I have a different kind of book, actually. I have an audio.
Chicago Mobs of the 19.
No, don't make fun of the book. No, This is an audiobook. I am a big fan of audiobooks because I rarely have time to read, yet I have time to listen while I'm working. So audible.com is an amazing site, and they have pretty much everything that is published in audiobooks. And
always listenable?
Always listenable. And the great thing is there's so many topics, but the most recent one that I've listened to is called The Boys by Ron Howard and Clint Howard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so great they tell their own story about how they both got involved in acting and directing and showbiz. And of course, their dad helped them along during his life.
Rance Howard. Yeah.
Rance Howard and their mom is such a great story. And,
Mrs. C.
No, Mrs. C wasn't his wasn't his mom.
No, Mrs. Cunningham was not.
Marion Ross was not his actual mom.
In my world, she was.
But it's so great to hear Ron Howard talk about how he was, he was like 9 years old in The Music Man. And of course, Clint talks about how he did the Corbomite maneuver and every little detail you'd want to know about what happened to him on the set, how everything was done. And
preserved in perfect detail.
Stored there in every detail. But the great thing is they both narrate their sections of the books, and it's just great. It's like sitting with them and having them tell you their story.
That's great.
It's a really fun kind of thing. And, Audible has tons of other books, including Mark's The 50-Year Mission.
Wow, what a great get that would be for someone who needs to entertain the Trek fan in their life. Of course, Darren is referring to the 50-year mission, the complete oral history of Star Trek.
Volumes 1 and 2.
Volume 1 and 2. Not only Volume 1 is available in hardcover, paperback, audio, and digital. Volume 2, for some reason, is not in paperback, but it is in hardcover, digital, and audio. You really can't experience the entire history of Star Trek unless you've read both books.
Right. And until you've heard the wide variance of pronunciations for people's names.
Yeah, I think I've told this story. It's funny because, actually the guy who was the producer and who reads a lot of it was Mr. Fantastic in the Roger Corman Fantastic Four film.
Yeah.
And Alex Hyde White, and also the son of Wilford Hyde White.
Wilford Hyde, right? Yeah.
Who not only was on the Council of 12 in the original Battlestar Galactica, but also played Dr.
I couldn't remember his name either.
Doctor in Buck Rogers season 2.
But it wasn't Dr. Hewer. That was the first season.
No, it was not Dr. Hewer. That was Tim O'Connor. That's a great doctor.
It wasn't Admiral Asimov.
Oh, I know. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Do you remember? Come on.
I don't remember.
Okay. Wait, I'm going to give you a hint.
Okay.
When you were growing up and you were hungry for ice cream, you really liked having this is not helping you.
No.
A good humor bar.
He wasn't Dr. Hewer.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh.
It's not good. It's not a good humor. It's good fella. He's a good Dr. Goodfella.
Dr. Goodfellow.
I probably should have said
his name?
Dr. Goodfella. Dr. Goodfellow.
That isn't resonating with me. So
okay, hold on. I'm going to the tape. Let's go to IMDb. Hold on. We're going to break protocol. And I'm going to
very well be. I just
Buck Rogers.
Maybe I'm glad that I can't remember.
How much money are we betting on this?
I'm not betting any money. I know I don't remember.
Okay. Well, that's too bad because I have a feeling that I could win a lot of money here.
I'm sure you could.
Dr. Goodfellow.
Very good. Congratulations.
What do I win?
You win the chance to be smug even more than you usually are.
Fuck you.
Hey, see, that's not a holiday sort of attitude.
No, you got to say, you win nothing. You lose.
You stole fizzy lifting drinks.
That's right. Okay. So I'm impressed with myself, I must say. You're right. I guess I am smug. Yes, I am smug. I have to say, I read a very interesting article this week about the difference between confidence and arrogance. And I thought it was a very interesting article. And I think it's true. I think confident people are interested in other people and learning and expanding their range of knowledge. And arrogant people have no interest in other people and what they have to say. Why is this thing talking to me? And it's saying Star Trek. It's literally.
Why is it saying Star Trek to you?
I don't know why.
Maybe it can sense that you're a Trekspert.
It's literally. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's our podcast. That's why.
Oh my goodness. The hubris of playing your own podcast on your own podcast.
I was not intentional, I assure you. It was
my next gift.
This is my gift. Another war.
Another war to the homeland. This is also from 1612, the company that is making so many lovely Jerry Anderson products. It is the Space 1999. Oh, here we go.
Oh, I can't see it.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
I can't see it.
I can't see him. It's the
there you go.
Stun Gun and Comlock gift set.
I have it too.
And you'll notice that the Stun Gun and Comlock are not in the box because I took them out and I'm playing with them. Not every day, but look at this thing.
Oh,
it's great.
Man, I really got to take that out of the box. It's gorgeous. You know what you should do? You should show up at Jeff Bond's party in your Moonbase Alpha shirt with the Comlock and the gun, and just like you've just gotten back from the moon.
Don't tell me how to do it. It sickens me.
As soon as we get off this podcast, I'm opening that box and taking out those toys. Oh,
where else can you get an official voice of Xenia Maritn?
Nowhere.
On a toy.
For sure. That is for sure.
Apart from those bootleg ones.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of while we're in Space 1999, my pick is it's a Diamond Toys exclusive, which you can pick up at Walgreens or eBay. It is Maximilian and Vincent.
Nice.
And Old Bob. They're the first black hole toys, I think, that have been released since probably 1979. I don't think there've been any toys since. And they're really great. They look great. I can't believe that we live in a world where an Old Bob toy is possible. But we do. It does not make talk like Slim Pickens like the Comlock does, but it's pretty cool. And the Maximilian thing is pretty awesome. So if you want to get your Norman Bates action figure and get Maximilian, you could have him like kill Norman Bates holding up a notebook.
Kill Bond now.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Bond because, of course, if you're looking for a book for that special Bond fan in your life, you may want to consider Nobody Does It Better, the complete oral history of the James Bond films. It's
I'm sensing a trend from Mr. Altman tonight.
From Mark A. Altman and Edward Gross, available not only in hardcover and paperback, but audio and digital. And you can get that anywhere that sells books. And I have to tell you, the publisher has done such a shitty job promoting it. I need to incessantly promote it on my podcast so that you know it exists.
Wow.
Because if a tree falls in a forest and nobody's there to hear it, I don't know.
Was that a tree? I don't know. I didn't hear
it. I love that book, by the way. I hope people check it out if they're Bond fans. I'm very happy with that.
Next on my list is not a book that I've written.
But I've written.
It's not a book. It's not a book that anyone's written.
Oh, okay.
If you've listened to Rob Burnett at all, you will hear his complete enthusiasm for this company in the Netherlands called jazzinc.grammars.com.
Jazz hands?
Jazz Inc.
Jazz Inc. All that jazz?
There's all that Jazz Inc.
Okay.
The great thing about it is that it is all sort of environments for your 1/6 figures.
Ooh.
And they make a lot of them. They have tons of environments for Star Wars. They have the Tantive 4 entryway that Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers walk in on. And they have a Death Star hallway. They have a 1/6 scale Millennium Falcon cockpit, fully decked out and lit and everything. It's amazing. Now, these are expensive. I'm just warning you now. Some of them are, like $200.
Right.
Which is still expensive, but not as expensive as other things.
Well, do they have a Cygnus?
Well, there's 1/6 Cygnus would be pretty freaking large. So the answer is no.
You know what would be a great play set for them to do? Can I say? I don't mean to interrupt you. That the VOYAGE platform at the end of Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
I think that would be cool.
Like that would be real, with all those weird steps that almost killed the actors, and VOYAGE in the middle, right. and the pulsating, undulating lights and everything.
I think
and
that would
weird
be great.
burping sound that it makes.
The weird burping sound. Well, if only there were 1/6 scale figures for the motion picture. There aren't at this point.
Oh yeah, that's true. There goes my plan. But
maybe X06 can do something about that. That's all I'm saying.
That would be great.
Obviously. And, since next year is a sort of a banner year in terms of that film, we hear, maybe it might
Oh, well, you know what Najim should do? Ilea in the white miniskirt, the tunic.
Oh, yeah, with a light up
with the light up throat, right? The throat thing, because Dave, no one's ever done that. I would pay any price for that.
I think Mego did a version of her in that outfit.
Oh, they did in '79, didn't they?
It was terrible. Yeah,
it was awful.
They did. Yeah.
Oh, I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the great thing that Jazz Inc. is doing, that I have had ordered for almost 2 years, is a 1/6 scale 1966 Batmobile. Fully licensed from Warner.
Really? Oh.
Fully licensed.
Wow.
The deluxe version is going to run you like $1,700.
Did you get it?
I paid for, and it's supposed to be coming next year.
Yeah.
As so many other things are.
It's on a boat.
It's on a boat. It's probably sitting off the coast of California right now. No, it's not.
Just hope that Lex Luthor isn't successful in jumping into the ocean.
It looks perfect. And I've already gotten my Hot Toys Batman and Robin from years ago.
Oh, wow.
Which are no longer available, unfortunately.
No.
But they're going to be sitting pretty in the Batmobile.
That is so cool. Is that still available, though? I mean, like the Batmobile?
The Batmobile is, absolutely. Absolutely. Really? If you have the money, I highly recommend picking one up.
If you have the time. You know what I really, this is something maybe you guys can educate me on. This would probably be a question for Rob, but you can answer it too. I have a couple of, great Enterprise toys. Like the ones that, were done over the last couple of years, Playmates did and Diamond Select. But, I know that there's some really amazing replicas of the Enterprise. Where do you get something like that? Who's doing that stuff well?
I think the only thing to do that is to have someone build you the model. That's a thing that Jeff Bond is doing right now. He's building a model for a client.
Oh, really?
Doing an amazing job. I don't think he ever wants to do it again, though. That's the problem. Because it's extremely difficult. And when it's done right, it's beautiful.
To keep it.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much the only way. Look, I'm sure everybody and their uncle is going to be messaging you saying, hey, I got a lead. Expect that to happen.
Well, while I'm not, necessarily tracking that down, I would say at the moment, I would say my pick is, because I picked like nothing from Star Trek. I probably should pick I was just going to say Eagle Moss is doing a great land ram from the original Galactica, but I probably
really hate Star Trek, don't you?
We probably should have some Star Trek on our start. There's a beautiful new Bluetooth communicator.
Yes, a reissue.
Which is a terrific, and it's available at StarTrek.com. And, for people who want to experience the communicator the way it was meant to be experienced,
that's funny. That was going to be a picture for me, too.
Yeah, it's really nice. Did you get it?
Oh, I got it when it was released like 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
This is a re-release of that.
I see.
Because, the original sold out really quickly. But this is absolutely great. It's made by the Wand Company, which started out as a remote control company. And then they started to license these props and build remote controls and other functionalities into them. And so they figured out how to finally do the Bluetooth connected phone communicator.
Right.
And it's great. It works exactly like it's supposed to. It goes boop, boop when your phone is ringing, and you flick it open and it makes the chirping sound.
Oh, wow.
And you can talk just like they do on the TV.
Oh, I think I'm going to have to get that.
It's great. It's absolutely great.
Yeah. Okay. That's
if you want to look really cool, walk around the Vegas Convention Center.
Well, I got to pay attention because you never know when someone's going to come out of nowhere in a cart and smash into your leg.
There is an emergency button that you can press to sound a red alert. So maybe that would have helped.
What about that emergency beam out, like in Day of the Dove, where you hit the red button and they know hold them in stasis?
Or it's the button.
Non-existence is where they belong.
The button that causes the avalanche.
The button that causes the avalanche, yeah. Yeah. But, I want to go back to Eagle Moss for a second because they are doing, some really great Star Trek replicas. But they also do Battlestar Galactica. They're doing the Orville now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I prefer the oversized ones. Oh, it's a Silent Centurion. Where did he come from?
He came from Eagle Moss.
By your command.
By your command.
Yeah. There were, it's so hard to find those good 78 Galactica toys. More than a couple of years ago, because I think I bought them at Tower Records. I think it was about 20 years ago. There were those great Cylons. I just got an Adama on eBay. I don't know what prompted me to do that. They were like, 16-inch Cylons. And
I don't know if they were 16. I think they might have been just 1/6 scale.
Oh, okay.
But they were really good. Yeah.
Yeah. They were good. They were good. And I'm just looking around and it's like, I have that Reliant that Eagle Moss did. I love that. I've always loved the Reliant. Yeah, exactly. And she dropped our shields. I know like some people have complained that the Eagle Moss replicas are not to scale, but it's absolutely impossible for them to do that, for a price. And, these are consumer. This is not, these are straight to consumer. This is not some kind of really esoteric super fan thing where they're going to go out and charge, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and, do a Cylon base star to scale. It's just there's not a market for it. So I'm happy to have, I can't believe anyone did those 78 Galactica.
Hardly anybody remembers 78 Galactica.
I know. I mean, so having like a base star and the Land Ram and the Viper, and I mean, it's great. And then I have some of the stuff from the new show too, which as much as I love the new show, I don't like the design work as much, but, yeah, it's great. And then also, did you get the Eagle Moss? They have the Katinga, from Motion Picture, which is really beautiful.
No, I wasn't able to get one of those.
I bought that at Comic-Con because they didn't send me. I kept asking, send me one. So, we'll send it to you. Never happened. So I just bought it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they're never sending this to me.
What I want is the two models that I built for them, the regular one and the Space Office Complex.
Yeah. You
You may think they're the same thing. They're not. But
I'd like those too.
I
get
still
more than
don't
one. I know. We should. I'm gonna have to buy those too.
You're gonna have to have a talk with Mr. Robinson.
If you could find them.
If you could find them. He's like the A-team. He's the R-team.
But yeah, and they're doing their books now, which are good. But I'm not going to plug it because we gave you enough airtime last week.
Where's mine? Again, where's my book?
Okay, so what? Let's talk about. So, everybody's thinking, all these guys wanted some free swag. Why'd I listen to the show this week? So let's talk about a few other things that we think might be worthwhile. There's a new book out, which I highly recommend through Amazon, which is the Mid-Century Modern Guide to Star Trek.
Absolutely.
I talked about it on the podcast before, but and I'm looking around here, but I'm completely disorganized. Wasn't exactly prepared for today's podcast. But it's a remarkable book that looks at mid-century modern architectural design and its impact on Star Trek.
Yeah, because Star Trek took place in that period when they filmed it. So there was a lot of that stuff available, and it looked futuristic. Yeah. And it even does now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, of course, we plugged this much earlier, I think last year in the third season, but Dave Addy's remarkable hardcover book, Typeset of the Future,
Absolutely.
Cannot recommend highly enough. Superb book about typography in science fiction. And, of course, it's Star Trek by extension.
It's great, and it's something that you will never see anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one in their right mind would do that.
And do a podcast on it.
You're going to do a podcast on fonts?
Yeah.
Good job.
Font you.
You're going straight to Helvetica.
I'll tell you the other thing. There's been a lot of complaining in certain circles about the fact that Netflix has lost the rights to the original Star Trek. It's, as I said, it's as though it fell off the earth. Like they reached the end of the earth and fell off the earth because it's no longer on Netflix. I'd just like to point out, not that I would hold this up as the most extraordinary set in the world, but Paramount CBS just recently reissued the first 3 seasons of the original Star Trek, which is a repackage of the Blu-ray, which appeared in the 50th anniversary set, which also reappeared, was reissued. It's been reissued many times. But that said, it's a gorgeous set.
Yeah,
it has the original visual effects, the revamped visual effects. It has the new sound mix.
Yep.
It looks great. So if you want to watch Star Trek and you don't want to watch it with commercials on MeTV, you should really.
Of course.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I will say that the Next Generation remasters are also beautiful.
They're also great.
Set.
And you can find those on Amazon, both streaming and physical media. And they're great if you like that kind of thing.
But CBS repackaged them and all 7 seasons.
Yeah.
And also is a great set. So,
and it's a great deal.
If Christmas is the time to ask for this stuff.
Christmas is the time for miracles.
It's a time for miracles, Theo. We recommend Die Hard, the greatest Christmas movie of all time, on 4K. And speaking of 4K,
yes.
You can quibble with the way that CBS has chosen to bifurcate the movie series. It's a little bizarre, but the movies do look great, and I highly recommend. Right now, you can get the collector's set of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, and Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home in one collection.
Yep.
In ultra high def, 4K. The films have never looked better. These are all remasters. I want to point out for those who aren't aware, of course, Star Trek: The Motion Picture is the theatrical version. The director's edition is coming out next. They made a couple of changes after the fact, which is ill-advised.
Yeah.
But of course, the director's edition will be coming to Paramount Plus next year, courtesy of Darren and Dave Fine and Mike Mattasino. But if you want to have the theatrical version, which looks spectacular, you want to pick up the set. And Star Trek 2.
Say, it looks really good, but you ain't seen nothing yet.
Ooh. Wow, that's exciting, Darren.
I'm not saying anymore.
Exciting. I can't wait.
You're gonna have to wait. You have to wait.
I know. But that said, so watch the theatrical version while you're waiting for the new director's edition.
Absolutely. And look, it's always fun. You don't have to watch Star Trek: The Motion Picture again. You can wait for the director's edition, but watch 2, 3, and 4 because they're fun.
Or 2 and 4.
Or 3. 3 is fun, 2. I mean, we have quibbles with it, but that doesn't mean that we don't enjoy certain parts of it.
You can watch Steel in the Enterprise and skip ahead.
And the meld with Sarek and Kirk is really nice.
Is it?
Yeah,
we'll talk about that. We're going to be doing commentary on that, so we'll save it for that.
Commentary. Commentary.
We're going to save it for that.
Save it for the commentary.
Definitely. Okay, last few picks. I would throw out, and this has nothing to do with Star Trek. Criterion Collection has just jumped into the pool of 4K UHD releases, and they're a double threat this month with the release of the 80th anniversary of Citizen Kane and and David Lynch's Mulholland Drive, both on 4K, both well worth your hard-earned money.
Absolutely. I'm gonna throw out something completely unrelated. Where is it? Here it is.
For everything, there is a first time.
I'm grabbing something from the shelf here.
Oh my, what could this be? The suspense is killing me.
It's something that you would never expect. Give the gift of licorice from licorice.com. If you have any family members who love licorice, or if you love it, they have various flavors, and I've never had better. This is like a sort of a Swedish fish kind of licorice, which are tasty. Honestly.
I didn't see that coming.
No. But when you're a fan, sometimes you need snacks. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if that's the case, I would say Carvel and Fudgy the Whale. What a great way to celebrate any holiday with Tom Carvel and Fudgy the Whale. Great ice cream cake.
Didn't they have a Santa ice cream cake that was from the same Fudgy the Whale mold?
It was. I forget what that was called, because they had a couple, but it started with Fudgy the Whale, and then they had a whole series of these cakes. And could you imagine a spokesman like Tom Carvel now? Everybody has to be so polished and be like an influencer.
Let me see if I can do it. Hi, I'm Tom Carvel. You're going to love our ice cream cakes because we make them fresh right in front of you. And it's you're going to love it. So come on down, get yourself a Cookie Puss or a Fudgy the Whale.
Why does your version of Tom Carvel sound like a member of the Corleone family?
Because he was.
I think that was Crazy Eddie, actually. What else?
We're going to make an ice cream cake you can't refuse.
Oh my gosh. That's really funny. Okay. Oh my God.
Don Carvel.
I could not refuse you on the eve of the daughter of your firstborn. I need you to use all your powers.
Look how they mastered my cone.
To make this ice cream cake.
Look what they did to Cookie Puss.
Oh, my boy. Oh my God. Can you get me off the hook for old time's sake, Cookie Puss? Can't do it, Allie.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Can you tell we're running out of presents?
No, you'd like to show me.
No, we're not running out of anything. You shut up about that.
You know what's very, very competitive priced. Get people a subscription to Inglorious Treksperts because it's free.
Oh, that's right. Why is it free? Tell me why. Because it just is.
Because of episodes like this, we couldn't charge you in good conscience.
Because we are a river to our listeners.
What else to wrap up? What would be the ultimate kind of Star Trek gift for the holidays?
I think because so much of the things that we like are, let's just say, a little retro.
The most exciting game ever, the Star Trek Phaser Battle, the game that fires back. Just power on. It's an exact replica of the Star Trek telescreen. Watch out, here comes the Klingon. Press the trigger on the phaser launcher. Hear the phaser fire. The Klingon ship appears throughout the galaxy. You can hear the phasers launch. The Klingon fires back. Is this a Star Trek phaser battle?
Sure is, Dad. Want to try it?
Okay.
Turn it up to Fleet Commander, Dad. That'll make it tough for you.
Wow, this is fast. There's the alert. Press the port side shield. Fire again. Check your score. Your hit is recorded on an LED readout screen. Every time you miss, the Star Trek phaser battle fires back. You've got to raise your shields to stop them, and you've only got 3 chances or you're out. Star Trek Electronic Phaser Battle, the game that fights back. It's just as tough for Dad as it is for you. New from Miko.
And they're from a different time period. I do a lot of my gift seeking on eBay, actually. And I do a search for, either Star Trek the Motion Picture or Star Trek TOS. And you come up with a whole bunch of fascinating things. Among them, let me see if I can find it here. If you can find it, stuff like this is, you can't find in stores anymore. But here it is. Here is my...
What is it?
Star Trek.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Plastic coffee cup.
That is great. And I love how on one side is Stephen Collins and Persis Kambata, and on the other side it's Dee and Bill and Leonard. Wow.
Yeah.
That is great.
And, this is pristine, 42 years old.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like this that it really makes my heart sing, because it's stuff that you had when you were little, and you can find it and fill up that need in your soul that you lost so long ago.
So what you're saying is you feel young as when the world was new.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
You bought all this in a day?
Oh my God. Well, look, I mean, there's so many things, and you can also suggest your holiday ideas on our social media pages, on Instagram at Inglorious Treksperts, on Twitter at Inglorious Trek, and of course on Facebook at Inglorious Treksperts as well. And we'd love to hear what you think, what you recommend are great holiday gifts for the Star Trek fan in your life. And maybe we'll share them on a future episode of the show. And of course, as we get close to the holidays, we hope you'll listen to our 3-part holiday Star Trekula, which of course is going to be a tribute this year to the 101 greatest sci-fi movies of all time. It's likely to be controversial and wildly entertaining, if last year's was any predictor of that. So I'm looking forward. We have not recorded it yet. I'm very excited to do that. And of course, you should always get a subscription to Starlog. Oh, wait, no, you can't.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I feel like we've missed so much. I mean, you know what I just read, which I'm going to give a plug, which I just read the first issue of Scott and David Tipton's The Mirror War. Of course, they're frequent guests on the podcast, and they frequently are writing for, the IDW Star Trek comics.
Yeah.
Next Generation famously never had a Mirror episode, but they are writing a miniseries for IDW. I read part 1 of The Mirror War, and it was terrific. I mean, those guys know Star Trek backwards and forwards, and it's really fun to see the Next Generation characters in the Mirror universe, and they had a lot. They're clearly having a lot of fun with it, and
have to nip that in the bud right away.
and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to future issues. I'm sure it'll be compiled in some kind of graphic novel collection. But issue number 1 and issue number 2 are available now, and I highly recommend it.
I'd really love to see them do a crossover between Star Trek and the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah, keep holding your breath for that one,
because they were shot on the same lot.
I thank you. I know, but there
is a way. There's a way to do it.
There's always a way. I mean, they could do Star Trek and Planet of the Apes and Star Trek and X-Men. Yeah. There's a way that they could do Star Trek and the Andy Griffith Show. And Clint Howard could,
exactly.
combine.
You see, you're getting it.
I get it. We'll see. I don't know.
I would hope everyone would relish it as much as I would.
And while we're talking about Tranya, I remember we were in Vegas. There was a guy selling Star Trek wine or Cardassian Canard, but he didn't have didn't you say, "Where's your Romulan ale?" And he had no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
he was so proud of that they had
that they put stickers on.
Yeah, like Chateau Picard and Cardassian Canard. But when you said where's the Romulan ale, he was like,
the what?
Yeah, he didn't know. So I'm not going to plug them on the show.
He didn't have any Romulan ale. He didn't have any Tranya. I mean, he didn't have any Finnegan's Folly. For crying out loud, folks.
That's right.
It's not tough.
And he didn't have anything green.
There was nothing green. Exactly.
Yeah, so
Ecto Cooler. Ecto Cooler's green. That's what they used for the green drink in Next Generation. when Data was the Aldebaran whiskey that Scotty was walking around. That was Ecto Cooler from High C. Just so you know. Little trivia.
I did not know that. I forget what we used in Free Enterprise. Because, we had the green drink in Free Enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, that looked just like Grasshopper.
Yeah, I think it probably was.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was
real
a long time ago.
That was 21 years ago.
Wow. And I would recommend it for the holiday gift guide, but, it's not currently on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
The rights situation is all tied up. So I don't know when the hell that's going to ever come out, but one day, hopefully. So,
Oh,
a whole nother generation could be exposed.
You were speaking of the TOS communicator,
yes,
Bluetooth. They also made a next gen one.
Ah, nice.
And I actually got this at the Las Vegas convention for actually a good price because they don't manufacture them anymore, but you can find them on eBay. But they're really cool, and they make when they're charged up, they make the little chirp, and you can talk in it, and it works just like a Bluetooth communicator,
great.
and you can wear it just like you can pretend to be Captain Picard in his heyday.
Is that who you would pretend to be, Captain
No,
Picard?
no. I would probably be Lieutenant Yar.
Okay, I won't ask.
No,
anyway. Well, this was fun. This was our first annual holiday. And we didn't even mention any of the novels, though. This is why we should have had Rob on, because Rob could talk about all the novels we didn't mention.
Well, there's a lot of novels going on, but they're the new stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Well, aren't they? I think he mentioned that they were sort of closing the loop or something on the.
I think they're shutting the door on original story.
I would recommend, of course, David Goodman's autobiography of Captain Kirk and his History of the Federation, which are terrific, and his autobiography of Captain Picard. I remember he was going to do Spock, but for various reasons we won't go into, did not write it.
Right.
But his
I think
work,
I know why.
I'm sure you do. But his work is he did a fantastic job on those books and highly recommended. So if you haven't heard them, check them out. And I think that about does it for us. What do you say, Darren Dochterman?
I can't think of any more. I'm trying not to really get new stuff. It's really difficult. But I have to say that I've downgraded a lot on my desire to get stuff. So it's just one of those things. I only choose the top of the line stuff now, and it's much more limited. So
we lived through a golden era. I mean, look, let's face it. We were in the 90s when Playmates was literally putting out.
Early 2000s was really good.
I mean, it was spectacular. I mean, when you think about the really deep dive they did into some very esoteric characters.
We were buying cases of large scale figures.
Yeah, I know. And they were doing beautiful figures. I mean, look, I have on display, I still have their Edith Keeler.
Yeah.
And piece of the action figures. And I mean, it's like, it was crazy, the stuff that they were doing. I remember running around trying to get the KB Toy and Hobby to find piece of the action because that was an exclusive.
That's the one I have a case of. I have a case of the piece of the action figures. I think I have 4 of each.
So you put the bag on them.
But why would one put a bag on a doll? Yeah, I did.
You're going to end up in a box. Well, they did.
A cardboard box.
Okay, well, we'll be back with a regular episode of Inglorious Treksperts next week.
Is there ever a regular episode?
I don't know.
Probably not.
No, Ashley, couldn't be with us because he's taking his son to see Ghostbusters. So hopefully the new Ghostbusters is good. Yeah, he was lucky to miss this one. So
don't talk like that.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I don't know if he would have at his fingertips as many suggestions. He's not as much of a collector.
Well, he collects kids.
He does. But he'll be back next week with an all-new episode of Inglorious Treksperts. And, of course, you can also listen to Peter and Lisa on our companion series, The Treksperts Briefing Room, an entirely different podcast where we do audio commentaries on significant episodes in the history of Star Trek, from the original series all the way through the latest incarnations airing on Paramount Plus.
Of course, we're not giving that up to Peter and Lisa permanently.
No.
They get to do a few now and then, and we get to do a few.
Absolutely.
It's a combined effort.
It's a combined effort. I didn't mean to imply that it's not our show anymore. Yes, Darren, it is indeed our show.
It's our show. It's my show. My show.
Look, but by the time you got to Johnny Carson in his later years, I mean, there were a lot of guest hosts going on. What was he working? 3 days a week? I don't know.
And you know what? Now they're all dead too.
Yeah, we're all the same now. So anyway, we want to thank Bill Ritter for always making it sound so great, even over Zoom. Of course, our producers, Peter Holmstrom, Natalie Miscali, and Zach Ragatz. And encourage us to visit on the social media. You can even change your 1-star review to a 5-star review if you're so inclined, or your 5-star review to a 1-star review.
No. I don't think you can do that. I think that's
okay. Okay. Well, there you go. And of course, we'll be back every Friday. We'll be back with an all new episode. And if you want to watch us, you can check us out on the free Electric Now app for video episodes of all our podcasts. So
as Gene Roddenberry said, you can always go from down to up, but don't go from up to down.
So until next Friday, on behalf of Darren and myself, keep on trekking. Ingloriously, of course. Shh.
Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird. Here to stay is a new bird. He sings a love song as we go along. Walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow, we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'd say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we've made, walking in a winter wonderland. Meadow, we can build a snowman and pretend that he's a circus clown. We'll have lots of fun with Mr. Snowman until the other kids knock him down. When it snows, ain't it thrilling? Though your nose gets a chilling, we'll frolic and play the Eskimo way, walking in a winter wonderland. To face unafraid the plans that we've made, walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland.
This show was produced by Dean Devlin and Mark A. Altman and is an Electric Surge Network production.